The history of climbing Mount Everest. It was 1841 when an obscure peak in the Himalayas was recognized as the tallest mountain in the world by a British survey team led by Sir George Everest, and whom Mount Everest was named after in 1865. Today, climbers from across the world attempt to scale its mighty face. For those who reach the summit of Mount Everest, they have climbed to the top of the world. For many who fall short, injury and death is their fate. The allure of climbing to the peak of Mount Everest has drawn climbers for over a century, and no matter the risks, it will continue to draw explorers for years to come. We have put together this comprehensive guide about Mount Everest and its climbing history. If you ever have had a fascination about Mount Everest or dream of climbing up Mount Everest yourself, you will find plenty of helpful and useful information in this post. What is the elevation of Mount Everest? The height of Mount Everest was first measured to be 29,002 feet, but was later revised in 1955 to 29,029 feet, and this measurement stands till today. Location of Mount Everest. Mount Everest is located in the Mahalangur mountain range and is situated on the border of both China and Nepal. The summit of Mount Everest lies on the border of Nepal to the south and Tibet, China, to the north. The discovery of Mount Everest by George Everest and his team soon caught the imagination of mountaineers worldwide. The initial attempts to climb Mount Everest could only be made in 1921 from the north side known as the Tibet side, when Tibet first opened its borders to the outside world. Nepal was still closed to foreigners at the time, so climbing from there was not yet possible. The history of climbing Mount Everest. The first people to officially climb Mount Everest began their attempts in 1921. Two British expedition team attempts in 1921 and 1922 failed to reach the summit of Mount Everest though. In 1924, members of a British expedition team, George Mallory and Andrew Irvine, were seen just 800 feet from the summit before being engulfed by bad weather. Though Mallory's body was eventually found in 1999, it could not be established whether he or Irvine actually reached the summit, as nothing was found on him to prove it. The mystery remains unsolved till this day. Mount Everest first ascent. The first climbers to stand on top of Mount Everest were Edmund Hillary from New Zealand and a Sherpa, Tenzing Norgay from Nepal, on May 29, 1953 from the Nepal side. Hillary and Norgay were members of a British expedition led by Colonel John Hunt. The successful summit made them world famous. Everest North _face _toward _base _camp _Tibet _Luku _Galutsi 2006. Empty Everest climbing season. The top of Empty Everest is engulfed by the jet stream for a major part of the year, making climbing near impossible due to high winds and extreme sub-zero temperatures. It is only when the winds die down in May and again for a short period in September that we have a so-called summit window, when conditions are safe enough for climbers to try and reach the summit. The other reason that climbers make summit attempts primarily in May and September is to avoid the harsh winter snows and summer monsoon rains. Mount Everest as seen from Drucker to PLW edit. About Mount Everest climbing. There are 18 different climbing routes to the top, with the South Col or the Northeast Ridge Standard being the most popular. Though not as difficult to climb as K2, the second highest mountain in the world, Everest has its fair share of avalanches, crevices, sudden storms, strong winds and below 40° F temperatures. Many climbers struggle in what is known as the death zone, which refers to an elevation of over 23,000 feet, where the oxygen content in the air is just a third than at sea level. The risks involved in climbing Everest are great. Even when using bottled oxygen, mountaineers can experience fatigue, nausea, vomiting and other related problems such as hypothermia and frostbite. Climbers normally spend months acclimatizing to get their body ready for the extreme conditions which they will encounter. Many people that have climbed Mount Everest come back with both physical and psychological problems from the climb. Climbing Mount Everest. Approximately 800 people attempt to climb Everest annually, and there have been over 4,000 successful climbers on Mount Everest in history. You might be wondering who is the person who climbed Mount Everest the most times. Actually, two Sherpas hold the record. Both Apa Sherpa and Furbatashi Sherpa have both reached the peak of Everest 21 times. Professional climbers are not the only people who have climbed Mount Everest though. Climbing Everest is a dream held by many around the world. If you want to be one of the few who get to say, "I climbed Mount Everest," then you will need to hire a professional guide. Many empty Everest climbing guides charge over $75,000 USD for people to join Mount Everest climbing expeditions. If you are interested in climbing up Mount Everest, then you will also need up to 3 months to make the journey. It takes 19 days round trip to trek to and from Everest Base Camp. Once at Everest Base Camp, it then takes an average of 40 days to climb to the peak of empty Everest. The reasons for the duration is that in order for the human body to adjust completely to the high elevation, then climbers must spend time at base camp and must make a series of acclimatizing climbs to the various camps to climb Mount Everest. Empty Everest. Climbing Mount Everest via the South Col route Nepal side. Climbing Everest requires months if not years of preparation and training. There are various rudimentary camps at different elevations which act as depots or stations used by climbers during ascents and descents. The camps for the South Col route are described below. Base Camp 17,500 feet. This lively camp is like a small village with hundreds of tents with people from all over the world, ringing of satellite phones and a constant chatter among the groups. Climbers usually rest at base camp for several days for acclimatization to reduce the risk of high altitude problems. You will also see trekkers at base camp as well. Thousands of trekkers